Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi Theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we've got a fun little hover effect for you today. We've got a little hover box here. So we've got three different versions here. They're just got different backgrounds. One's got a gradient background here. One's got an image. One's got an image and a little dark gradient over the top of it, so it gets a bit darker when we roll over it. Now we're using a premium plugin to do this today. It's called DiviFlash. It's absolutely awesome, and you get 30 or so extra modules with it, as well as some extensions. And this is an affiliate link, and we've got a 10% off if you use my link down at the bottom. Anyway, let's get started with this. I'm going to enable the visual builder. And let's go down. Let's start a new section. I'll make it a regular section. And let's throw 3 rows in there. And if we look here, the little purple icon ones with the advanced in them are the ones that you get when you install DiviFlash. And I'm going to get up the little hover box, which is right there. Okay, we can change the build view from hover state to regular state here, as well as further down we can do that also. So let's go into the content. You can give it a title and a subtitle if you want to. And of course you can put some content in down below. And with all content modules you can make it into headings, 2, 3, 4, paragraphs, bold, italicize, add links, and justify it left, center, and right as you need to. As you can see, that's popped that there. When I hover over it, disappears. Let's put a U in that subtitle there. Okay, if we roll on down, there's an option to add a button. Just put in what you want your button to say there. Put in a URL for the button down below. And URL opens in the same window. That's great if you're linking to your own site, but best practice, if you're linking off-site to somebody else's site, open that in a new tab so your site stays open. If we roll down a bit more, here's our hover settings again. And you can decide whether to see the title on hover. If I switch that to on, the title disappears until we start hovering over it. Same with the subtitle. I'm going to turn that back off. Content on hover. If I take that away, when we hover over, the content's going to appear. And the button on hover. That way the button's going to appear when we hover over there. I kind of like it with just the button like that. That's entirely up to you. You've got several options there. And it's going to scale the background on hover. This isn't going to show you much unless you've got an image in the background or something like that. Well, what scale means is it's going to grow slightly. And you can choose your animation direction, top, bottom, left, right, center, top right, top left, etc. Okay, well, let's add a bit of a background in there. And you've got color, gradient, or image. Let's throw a little gradient in there. Just switch the little switch to use gradient background. And there's the regular one that you've got there. I'm going to leave it just like that. If you wanted to link the whole module, not the button, to somewhere, you've got a link down below and you can put a link in there. And again, best practices apply if you're linking off or on site there. Okay, well, let's move over to our design tab here. And the text, I think I'm going to pop everything in the middle there. I'm not going to use any box shadow or text shadow. Vertically align, you can align it top, middle, or bottom. As mine's filling out the whole box at the moment, it won't make much difference, but if you've got a long box, you can vertically align it where you want. Title, you can actually give the title box its own background color if you want to, which is a nice little feature if you want to break things up over your background there. In fact, let's just leave that in there, shall we? Title font. Well, as usual with Divi, it's got a huge amount of fonts. If you want to audition one, just roll over it and it'll give you an example of the one that's there. I'm happy with mine to be the default. I'm going to make that perhaps semi-bold And let's make it white in color. And we'll move on down. Not going to decorate the text any more than that. Subtitle. It's great. All I'm going to do for this is make it white so we can see it a bit better. That's fine. And our content, I'm going to do exactly the same thing here. And all of these, title, subtitle and content, you can give a separate background if you want to. For instance, if I make this blue, you'll see that the content has actually turned blue there. But I'm happy not to have one at all on that. Again, I do want to turn it light in color so we can read it a bit better. Okay, so we've got our little hover box there. Let's roll on down. And we can do the button. So just click on the button. At the moment, all we can see is the learn more up there. So I'm not going to give it a background color. I will give it a text color. There we go, we can read that. And let's actually give it a border. Now I've got all four linked there. Let's give it, say, 2 pixels. Jumped up to 10 there, so I'm just going to type in 2. There we've got a little border around it, and we can adjust that padding in just a moment. Let's give it a bit of box shadow also. There we go. Okay, let's go in and do some custom spacing here. Now we've got wrappers that everything's wrapped in here. As you can see, that top thing, the wrapper there, is the hover box. So if we want to put some padding around the whole thing, we can use the wrapper padding right here. We can use our regular spacing to do that also. But if we go to the content, we got title padding. Let's give it, say, 15 pixels top and bottom. You'll see that title expand a little bit right there for our hover box. Subtitle margin padding, you can give it the same if you want to. Let's give it, say, 10 pixels on the top and on the bottom. And then let's give our content, this is the content there obviously, top and bottom, give it 20 pixels. Just put in the 20, hit the chain, it'll do the opposite side. And let's do the same for left and right there. There we go. And we got a button margin and button padding. Margin is going to push the button up and down. Padding is going to make it wider or fatter. So I'm going to make it a little bit wider and fatter. Let's give it, say, 10 pixels top and bottom and 15 pixels left and right. There we go. And I like to see that button down in the middle perhaps. So let's roll back up to our vertical align and align that center. Now our button's right in the middle there. That's great. So there's our first little hover box. If you wanted to put an image behind it, you could do so. Let's just save this. Let's copy this or clone it with the little boxes there. Drag one of them over. And what we'll do, we'll get rid of that gradient background and the background on our title there. Let's go in there. We'll go into our design and our title. And let's take that background away. And go back to our content now. We'll take that background away and put an image in. So there's the gradient background. I'm going to flip that one back to off. White writing, it's made it all disappear into the background there. Let's add an image to this one. Now I guess I'll use the same picture as I used before. Now if I roll over it, you can see the actual scale effect. That image is slightly scaling in there, which is great. And let's just copy it one more time. There's no overlay on this. So if you've got a busy image that your writing gets a little bit muddled with, you're going to have trouble. For instance, if I go in there and we flip the image to something that's a bit busier, say this one, move this over, you see the writing is getting a little lost in there with all the different colors and what have you. To fix that, what we can do is actually get rid of the image on here. We can put a background color in, like a black. We'll take the opacity down to about 50%. Opacity is see-throughness or transparency if you like. Then we can put an image in the actual column itself. So now if we go into the row, go into the column, we're working with color 3. Now we can add that image. There we go, and you can read that writing a lot easier. If you're still not happy with it, let's save our row and our column there. Go back into the module, to the background. We can go, and you can take your opacity up or down until you're happy with it. What you could also do is just darken it down a little bit. Then common to most Divi modules, if you hover up over the writing here, get the little arrow up, and we can set a different state for the hover. So we've got that when we're not hovering over it. When we hover over it and the button comes up, we'll go to the hover state, the arrow here. Let's actually take the opacity just about all the way down on that one. So again I'm going to click on the color, drag the opacity. It's almost all the way down, so when the button pops up, we've got most of the picture right there. Let's save our changes and see what we've got. We'll save the page changes and exit the Visual Builder. We'll roll on down. There's our first one. When we hover over, the button's going to pop up there in the middle. Second one with the image, it's going to scale and the button's going to roll up to the middle. And the third one, it's going to lighten up and the button's going to pop in. So we got the darker image and the light one with the button popping in there. So there you go guys, there's how to create a hover box using the great DiviFlash plugin. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.